This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word and truth sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And we're already in the third woe. Okay? We're already in it. And today is April 1st. We know today at sundown is the Passover, which, the Tiny Tops is keeping it on the same day. And, now, which I got this video I'm going to play because we've been bringing it out. Okay, Ezekiel 38. All right, how Russia will be a guard unto Iran. I got this video I'm going to play, but, just want to speak on a few articles I was coming across. So today, Iran is going to attack all of these different U.S. businesses in the Persian Gulf region, in the UAE, in those different regions. They said they're going to blow up Apple, they're going to blow up Palantir, they're going to blow up all these different businesses that's over there, which they gave a whole list. All right, they said they're going to blow them up today, man. Okay, and now you got Trump, getting asked about the war in Iran and getting asked about gas prices. And these devils are just straight up lying, man. Making it seem like Iran is weak, talking about they've been defeated, and now they're saying their plan wasn't a regime change, which Pete Hegseth said that there's been a regime change in Iran. And now I'm seeing reports Israel is saying Iran is not their enemies. So these are words from losers, man. They thought it was going to be a Venezuela. They thought it was going to be a quick and easy victory. Okay, but, Russia and China is heavily involved. So it's not as easy as they thought. Okay, and they on the ropes, so they got to lie. Talking about they're in talks with Iran and Iran wants to negotiate. I'm listening to these different analysts. They're all saying that's all lies, man. Okay, you done fucked up, but this is all biblical prophecy. So let me play this video, man, because we always bring out Ezekiel 38, but it's coming to pass. Check this out.
Iranian state media is now claiming that combat units from Russia's Chechen Republic have declared themselves ready to deploy to Iran if the United States launches a ground invasion. According to Press TV, these forces are loyal to Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov and have told Tehran they will fight alongside the Iranian armed forces if US troops move beyond air and missile strikes onto Iranian soil. The reports describe the ongoing US-Israeli war against Iran as a religious war and say the Chechen side is framing any direct intervention as a jihad, a battle of good versus evil in defense of the Islamic Republic.
So, as you just saw, which here's the caption, Russian Chechen combat units officially informed Iran that they are ready to be deployed to Iran to fight alongside Iranian forces if the U.S. launches a ground invasion. So, let me pull up what I spoke about with chat, okay, because I asked chat some questions. I put, is Chechen a part of Russia and Putin protects them? I'm seeing reports they will join war with Iran if ground invasion happens. Is this technically Russian military? And chat said yes, but it's complicated. Is Chechnya part of Russia? Yes, Chechnya is officially a region inside Russia, but it has unusual autonomy, more independence than most regions. It runs a lot of its own affairs and security forces. Who controls Chechnya? The leader is Ramzan Kadyrov, a very close ally of Vladimir Putin. Putin basically backs and protects him politically in exchange for loyalty. Think of it like Kadyrov controls Chechnya internally. Putin keeps him in power. Are Chechen troops Russian military? This is where it gets tricky. Chechen fighters, also called, yeah, that's some Russian word. It says technically part of Russia's system, often under National Guard Interior Ministry, but personally loyal to Kadyrov more than the regular Russian army. So yes, officially they are tied to Russia, but in reality they act like a semi-independent force. Now check this out. If they join a war like Iran situation, if Chechen troops deploy with Putin's approval, it is basically Russia acting. Even if they look separate, they are still aligned with Russian command and interests. So it would likely be seen globally as Russia being involved, not just Chechnya alone. See? This is beautiful, man. And I just seen gas prices is higher. Man, we in beautiful times, man. Beautiful times for the servants of Yahweh Bahashim and Hawashai. Okay, and the Lord is going to make a clear distinction, a clear who he's dealing with. Because everybody else is about to panic, is about to cry, weep, lament. We about to see more videos of people crying. This war, Trump, I didn't vote for this. I voted for no more wars. Why is gas so high? It's so hard to live. Isaiah 4:1 is coming to pass. Okay? So we in beautiful times, man, and it's a lot. It's so much going on, man. You can't even really remember it all, at once. It just it's so much going on right now. But I personally believe that things are going to die down a little bit, because when they fully implement this new digital blockchain system, it's going to be pretty much the whole world is going to switch over to this digital system. So, and I speak as a man, it could be to where, the war died down a little bit, and, which I'm heavily thinking that Esau is going to do some Project Bluebeam, some fate return of the Lord to possibly bring an end to the war, and pretty much bring the world together under one government, which is the digital, blockchain system. Okay, to where, AI is going to heavily be, we're already seeing everything being, the groundwork, everything has been laid. So I see, it could die down a little bit to where they set this, everything in motion, but it's still going to be civil unrest, and, all hell going to break loose. But it's going to get to a point where the Lord is going to cause these nations to shoot off their nukes. But the MOTB has to be made mandatory first. And I'm heavily suspecting them tiny tots gonna do it, man. They might say fuck it and just, but we can see, I could be wrong. The war could continue to go on. Just a thought I had earlier, but this is major. Okay, I'm gonna read this again. It says it would likely be seen globally as Russia being involved, not just Chechnya alone. So this is World War III, man. This is World War III. Okay? So and then chat says there's no strong confirmed mainstream evidence right now of Chechen forces officially going to Iran. This is chat always on that shit, man. I just played you the video where they said they are ready to join the war if U.S. troops does a ground invasion into Iran. Okay, and we're gonna see China get involved as well. We're gonna see this is World War III. All right, so I'm gonna grab. We already know it. We already know it, but I'm gonna grab a few scriptures out of Ezekiel 38. Okay, this is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which Magog just means of Gog. Okay, so this is talking about Russia, which is going to make it more plain. It says the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and chief prince is Hebrew, is Ra'ash Shar. Okay, which would be the Hebrew way of saying Russia. Okay, and we know this is talking about Russia because these are ancient, names for land geography. And when you look at a biblical map and you see where, Gog is on a biblical map, it's over there in Russia today. Okay, so it says and prophesy against him, because we know the Lord is going to use them, but the Lord don't give a fuck about them, man. They Edomites. Now, it is a lot of Jakes in Russia, but for the most part, those are Edomites. The Lord is having Edomite on Edomite violence. The curses is slapping Esau, man, and all the heathen. Okay, so the Lord that's why Yahweh Shai said, if Satan be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because they're all Edomites, yet they're divided and they at war with each other. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. The Lord is putting that USSR spirit back in Russia, man. All right, because for years, Putin has been trying to be diplomatic with the West, trying to talk, trying to get on the phone, trying to pretty much, come to an agreement to end the war. But Babylon doesn't respect Russia. So it's always been a waste of time because Russia has their demands and then Babylon has their demands, and they can't come to an agreement because the Lord don't want them to come to an agreement. The Lord wants war. Okay? So, they've been doing all this talking, but the Lord is putting His spirit in them to see that there is no more talking. The only language that the West will understand is war. It says, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. That's their military. Persia, which are the Iranians. Okay, everybody knows this. Okay, we're constantly hearing different analysts say, calling the Iranians Persians. Okay, it says Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, because Russia is going to align itself with certain African nations. They've already been doing it. Okay, it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee, because Turkey, which who was I listening to yesterday? Pretty much they spoke on how Professor Morandi, he was saying how Iran has pretty much they have a good relationship with Erdogan, whatever his name is. So they haven't been attacking Turkey, even though Turkey is allowing their airspace to be used. But if Iran was to hit Turkey, that would cause Article 5 of NATO, because Turkey is a NATO member and they're the second most powerful military in NATO, I believe. So, but Erdogan already said he don't want war with Iran and he don't support it. So we're seeing all kind of division in NATO right now. Israel has halted weapons shipment sales to France because they see France as not being fully supportive of them, and France have they closed their airspace, allowing U.S. weapons to, I believe, to go through it to get to Israel. So, we're seeing all kind of division in NATO, man. And Trump is talking about pretty much leaving them on their own. So, Russia is seeing that as, hey, if we attack Europe, Babylon might not even be there to help them. And that's going to cause the beast to hate the whore. Because right now, there's reports that Europe is going to allow Ukraine to use their airspace to attack Russia. And Russia said they keeping their eyes on that, and they're saying there will be consequences if they do that, man. So this is World War III. All right. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So the Lord is going to have Russia be a guard unto these nations, man. Okay, and cause them to be under their nuclear umbrella. Because, like Colonel Douglas McGregor said, and I believe it as well, he said he believes Putin has already made it clear to Netanyahu that if they attack, I already want to say that, but he warned Netanyahu if he nukes Iran that they would nuke Israel, man. And that will happen because the scriptures in this chapter says there will be a great shaking in the land of Israel. It's going to be caused by thermonuclear destruction. The Most High is going to totally annihilate that land because that's his favorite land, and he's going to purify it with fire, man, before we come down and have these heathens build up our kingdom. Okay? So, Russia is going to be a guard unto Iran, and we're seeing that with them, sending their soldiers in if there is a U.S. ground invasion. Okay? Which is looking highly likely that it will be. They're constantly deploying troops to the Middle East, man. Okay? So this is beautiful, man. We in beautiful times. We in the end of this bitch. Brothers ain't got long. Just stay strong. We got the Passover tonight. Lord willing to go well with brothers keeping it. And, Lord willing, brothers just, stay in the faith, man. Because, it's getting real out here, man. It's going down. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was a edifying video. With that, I'm going to say shalom.